Welcome, everybody. You are here for a treat. This is the Future Ready webcast with your coach, Gabriela Mueller. I know I don't look very Mueller. Gabriela Mueller Mendoza. And today I have not only a thought leader, author, executive coach, super consultant, Thomas Gelmi, but also a friend and a partner in crime. And today we are here to give you really things that you can use already starting today to lead better, to find balance as a leader, to find that sense of interpersonal abilities, but also the capacity to lead others with emotional intelligence, especially in 2020. This is still a pandemic year and things have shifted. So I'm happy to give the floor to amazing, diverse thought leaders from around the world. At some point, you're also going to listen to the audio of this webcast interview in the Smart Woman podcast, Spotify, iTunes, you name it, up there. And for anybody else who wants to connect with me, gabrielamueller.com. So we're here. We're going to start. Thomas, welcome, benvenuto. Welcome, welcome. You speak 4 languages. So now can you tell me English? Welcome. Italian, I love when you say
Italiano. Sì, buongiorno, Gabriela.
Buongiorno. Okay. And French.
And French and Schweizerdeutsch.
Yes.
Yeah, Swiss German. Not to be underestimated.
Not to be underestimated by itself.
Right.
By its own. Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank
How
you.
are you doing today? And whenever I ask people here, I really mean, how are you doing in 2020?
I'm doing very, very well, Gabriela, really. I'm doing very well. Of course, besides the highlight of my day today, having this conversation with you, this whole year has been a very strong year of transition for me. And I already knew that, like, when we started into the year, but I would have never imagined it to be like this. So yeah, it's transitional. It's brought many changes and not only bad things, despite all the drama that's happening with COVID. It's great opportunity. And just yesterday, I heard someone say it's the year of no return. And I fully agree. I fully agree.
The world as we knew it ended somehow January, February here for us in Europe. We're based here. You are in Zurich. I'm based in Bern, in Switzerland. And you are also, among other things, trainer, facilitator, executive coach for a lot of senior leaders in organizations, and also member of the Forbes Coaches Council. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And also, my friend, author, I mentioned that, of the book, and look how many little marks I have. Your book, Durchstarten in German, and you've got the English version.
Yeah, I've got the English version here. So the English title is Breakthrough, because if you translate Durchstarten, it doesn't come out well.
All right, for anybody, why breakthrough? Like in a couple of few sentences, people who haven't gotten it, and absolutely you need to get it. They can get it anywhere in Amazon, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Why breakthrough?
Why breakthrough? Because I believe we're all here to express our true self, our essence, the best possible way, and by doing so, contribute to the community, to the higher good. And for many, this comes with a breakthrough at some point in their lives. I often have clients, around between 40, 50, maybe in their 50s also, who reach a point where they say, I got here somehow. And I'm successful and I'm doing well, but I don't really know if I do what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's sometimes, to use an image, like a snake who gets rid of the old skin, and breaks through the old skin in order to become the new version or the best version of itself.
And by doing so, people then honor really who they are, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I always tell the leaders that I also work with, right, as a coach, a speaker around the world, and now a lot of us, grounded, but doing a lot of everything that we used to do now, Thomas and I just doing digitally. I always tell them, what got you here to 2020 won't get you there where you want to go, where you really mean when you went to, that bold goal, your organization, your team, this year definitely needs an upgrade. So a breakthrough, in other words.
Right.
Okay. So when I was getting ready for this interview for you, Thomas, one of the things that got to me, it was a memory, because people who will watch this should know that also Thomas and I, we have traveled around the world, in Africa, in Asia. We're still working on Latin America at some point. I'm taking you there. And definitely we work together in Central Europe. And I remember, I have a vivid memory of you and I traveling with Turkish Airways, business class, super comfy, amazing food. We're heading to the Philippines to work. And I just wanted to chill out. I just wanted to, I had already prepared, and I was like, okay, this is going to be my time for me to, get ready. And you were finishing your book, and you were working really, you're off to make sure you deliver on time. And I remember that work ethic that you have, the same excellence that you use to deliver to your clients. And I think a lot of people now, in this transition, as we're all moving forward and transforming our businesses, and they're struggling to, in a way, do the things that they used to do, and they're in real transformation. This is where the resilience, work ethic, really the putting the hard work and the creativity comes to play. Do you have any tips for our leaders out there, people who are thinking, I don't know if I should do something about it now, it's a bit scary in these uncertain times?
Yes, very good question, very relevant question. And to just briefly relate to what you said about the situation on the plane, it may have looked like I was working hard, but I wasn't. It wasn't work, I was doing what I have enjoyed doing. And that's a completely different story, So it all starts with self-care, like putting yourself first. And this is not about being egoistic or egocentric. It's not about the ego, because especially this year, we see a major shift from ego to eco, from the ego in the center to the community in the center, and the collective being in the center, from me to we. That's an important shift we're already making at the moment. But what I'm talking about is self-care, like putting yourself first in a self-caring way. It's like, when you get the emergency information, the emergency demonstration on the plane, and they talk about the masks coming down and what you should do. You should pull the mask, grab one, put it around your head, and put on your own mask first before you start helping anyone else.
Yeah, and
because if
they run out of oxygen. They try to help
exactly
the family, the boss, the client, without
exactly
taking care of themselves.
And when it comes to this question, what should I be doing? Should I be changing someone? Am I doing the right thing? The question should not be focused outwards first. Like, what are the opportunities? What are the possibilities that present themselves? It all starts with looking inward first. Like, who am I really, and what do I really enjoy? Your own well-being is of utmost importance. What do you love doing? What do you enjoy doing? Where does your passion go? What makes you feel alive? And then build from there, take it from there. Right. So
It's kind of, in other words, where do you feel energized? I think that sometimes, people are very confused when we tell or they hear things like, find your passion. But I think it's about energy. When you get that, with exactly that flow, that inspiration, that energy, focus there, and then you'll find the answers. Linked to that, one of the things that I really like about in your book, you said something about Ikigai.
Yeah, Ikigai.
Ikigai. You have to tell, because I know the concept really well, but how would you summarize this beautiful concept that comes from the Japanese ancient cultures? Tell me, and why is it important now in 2020 for leaders and for anybody, for God's sake, even for our kids?
Yeah. So Ikigai is, as you said, a concept of Japanese origin, and translated, it would mean something like reason for being, or the value of being.
Yeah.
And I printed the concept here so that
Oh,
people can see it. Those who watch, those who listen
yeah.
can't.
And we'll
So
have
it's
that on
basically,
replay, of course.
exactly, it's basically a concept consisting of 4 circles that overlap in the middle. So the circles stand for what you're good at, what you love, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for.
Yes, it's so
Right?
important because
So,
sometimes it's a hobby.
yeah, right. So if you do what you love and what you're good at, which is very often, comes together,
Yeah.
that's fine. So then you're satisfied, you're happy, but you may not be earning money and making a living about it, with it.
Right.
If you do something that also the world needs, the world can use, that's already better. But the sweet spot is really when that need is something that people or companies are willing to pay for. And then you're in the sweet spot. Doing something you love, doing something you're good at, contributing to the bigger picture, to the greater good in some way, and also getting paid for. And I must say, I'm in the very privileged position where I can say, I have it. I just got there. I got it.
Right.
It's
And this is
just,
something that every time that you and I work together, we lead seminars for hundreds of people in the world, and also sometimes for smaller executive teams. I see you when you get in that flow,
yeah.
that flow of I see you in that he is living in the Ikigai, in the very
Yeah.
personal sweet spot.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right.
And that's a reason to get up in the morning,
That's
Then you don't have to get up in the morning. You can't wait to get up in the
right. Absolutely.
morning.
One of the things, and this is something that came from our social media channels, because I made a little bit of a survey with our crowd.
Right.
And many of these women actually remember you know, from our dance together in the Philippines and in Davao,
Right.
remember?
Yes.
Or from
Vividly.
other places. But one of them recalls that in your past life, you have been to other things that's interesting for people watching. And the reason I'm going there, because I want you to tell people that yes, you can transform yourself. It's never too late.
Yes.
And when you have a phase to close, you go ahead. And this is from Ada, and she writes us from the Philippines. And she says, okay, I remember the story about you being a hairstylist.
Yeah.
But before also that, or somehow linked to that, working for an airline. So can
Yes.
you tell us a little bit? I mean, think about this. Is people watching? Sometimes they feel that I study, I don't know, mathematics. I need to be a
Yeah.
mathematician all my life. No,
Yeah. No.
you've been so many different things in your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again,
Yeah. I'll be happy to talk about this because it's really very, very relevant. And I hope it's also encouraging for people who watch this or listen to this. The Ikigai I found that I just mentioned a moment ago, that's not the flick of a light switch that it just happened. It was a journey, and it still is a journey. And it started early, when I was completely, disoriented. I didn't know what to do with my life and what profession to choose. And I envied those who were able to say, okay, I'm going to study mathematics. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a lawyer. And I was asking myself, how do they do it? How do they do it? I have no clue what I should be doing. So I picked something where I was able to work with people. I knew I wanted to do something where I'm, dealing with people. And so I picked hairstylist. I did a 3-year apprenticeship. I enjoyed it. It was great fun. I earned my first money cutting hair. And now in retrospect, I realize I was not only cutting hair, I was listening to people. I was having significant, valuable conversations. So there was already the red thread starting there. I wasn't aware of that at the time. Then I used to work for a circus, living in the trailer, touring with the circus. And then at some point, I was like washed upon the shore of Swissair, And I started working for the airline for 7 years, leading cabin crew on the international network.
Yeah.
And then after the grounding of Swissair in 2001, a month after 9/11, I opened a new chapter, and that was the beginning of my career in people development. So looking back from today, and you can only connect the dot in retrospect, right? There's a red thread, and it was always
Yeah.
about people.
About people. I
Yeah.
love that. One of the things is when we talk about your all these different phases and experience is that you and I have seen the power of working with groups of women only.
Hmm.
And in the last few years, we also discover more and more the power of working with men only programs.
Yeah.
Something that I came up with on the market, something called the barbershop workshop. And I needed a strong partner in crime on this one, like you. And because you are a father as well, you have two, a
Yes.
boy and a girl,
Yes.
you know the power and the importance of gender equality in the world. And so you and I have been endeavoring in this work. And what do you see as first, the difference working with men only groups? What
Hmm.
happens there? And,
Hmm.
and for anybody watching, you can imagine these are groups of 12, 16 men, executives, Thomas there, and I'm the only woman in the room, and we have a set of guidelines where we talk and discover layers of the topic of gender equality from all the different aspects, and it has been really a discovery phase. What is your take on working with men, and why is it important?
Okay, so I think everybody has experienced the situation how the energy in the room shifts. If it's a group of men only and a woman joins the meeting, for example, just one woman makes a difference because the energy almost immediately shifts. And I don't judge that. It's not.
It is what it is. It
I'm
happens.
not saying it's good, it's bad, it's positive, it's negative. It just is. It can be noticed. Now, when you work with a men only group and you talk about gender aspects or gender diversity aspects, you have the opportunity to really get their thinking out there on the table, get their experience, get their hopes and wishes, and get their frustration and everything out there on the table unfiltered, because they're among men and we can openly speak. And because, of course, you are there as a woman, but you're in the lead and you're moderating and inviting the discussion, or enabling the discussion. So there's a different kind of really of openness and honesty in a men only group when we talk about these topics.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the power of the aha moments that we have had is how, when given a safe space in which we say, we're going to keep it professional, though we're really going to talk about things that you're not talking in your organizations about gender equality and gender diversity, then we really open up really a whole new array of palette of possibilities, right?
Mm.
And we have been surprised sometimes by it, and at the same time nicely surprised in a way. It's good to talk about it. And I'm not saying this is a walk in the park. Sometimes it can be a challenging conversation in groups that really want to endeavor into juicy conversations, but I can only do something like this with you because we're strong, solid coaches. We can do this. We are here to add value.
And because I used to be a barber.
Yes, exactly. And this is also one of the reasons why it's called Barbershop Workshop, because this is exactly the barbershop where men open up about things with confidentiality and
Yeah.
still safe environment. All right. One of the questions that I got in one of my networks had to do with women, because you and I have worked with a lot of women, and women who are afraid or insecure about leading. You have been working thoroughly also with women around the world. You and I train women to lead, to win elections, to move forward, to advance. In 2020, things have shifted in a way because now we have a lot of digital communication. We don't have necessarily that face-to-face encounter where you can, just really get to grasp executive presence and competence and likability. If there are any three top 2 or 3 tips you can give to women right now? Because I know that you're always well meant when it comes to advising and coaching women in the world.
Yes, yes,
Get a tip.
yes. So I think first of all, for the first advice I would give is start with what you have. Begin with what you have and who you are now. Don't wait. Don't wait for the right moment. There will never be the perfect moment. Start with what you have. Start now. One of the most hindering beliefs is it's not the right moment yet. I'm not there yet. I don't quite have it yet. I'm
Right.
not ready yet. Don't say goodbye to this. Just start. The second advice I would give is make self-care a priority. Increase your self-confidence.
Yeah.
Get certain about yourself and who you are and the qualities you have. Find out what your core qualities are, what your core competencies and your strengths are, and then work with that and show it to the world, with the intention to contribute. You have so much to give. Everybody has so much to give. Very often we're not even aware of it. So this needs some introspection. It needs some becoming a good friend for yourself, right? Self-care. Because, and you referred to COVID and this 2020 and how everything is different. I really think what I have been saying for years has now become even more relevant. It all comes down to relationships. And leading means caring more than anything. In the industrial age, it was command and control. Today, it's command and care. Lead by caring. And there's this beautiful quote by Theodore Roosevelt who said, "People don't care how much you know before they know how much you care."
Right.
And women, generally speaking, we always have to be careful with generalizations, right? But when it comes to caring, many women have an advantage over many men. Men can also care a lot if you let them, but make caring a priority. Lead by caring. And then the third advice I'd probably give is get a coach or get a mentor.
Yeah.
Connect with someone who can give you some guidance and who can encourage you, who will give you some perspective. Yeah.
Some perspective, right? And I always say, women, you don't have to find this one alone. Always a tribe of women, a mentor, a coach, somebody who you trust for real feedback. Okay, and one of my last questions to you, Thomas, has to do with leadership today. You and I work a lot with leaders. You work a lot with C-suite level executives, and something has shifted this year. This is not the same old playbook, and whoever is trying to use the old playbook, they're going to figure out that it just doesn't work anymore. People are working from home. People are yearning for that connection, everything about relationships, building trust. Yesterday, I was coaching a team, and 3 members have just been hired in January when they were all sent home. So those 3 members are really struggling in a way to just make sure that they build that network relationship and that trust. So what have you seen in your view? Because you are an expert also here, because you work with this group. And if there is anything that you could advise to our executives watching this or people in leading teams.
Yes. Well, you already almost gave the answer when you pointed out that
I didn't want to spoil it.
No, that's fine. That's fine. The importance and the relevance of relationships and trust has dramatically increased. If you send everybody to the home office, you have to let go of the need for control. At least to some extent, you have to let go. You have to trust people. You have to trust that people are going to do what needs to be done. And they don't, just sit around all day and sleep or go swimming. And reality shows and studies have shown that most people in the home office setting are even more productive and work more than at the office, right?
That's
It's
interesting, right?
it's not the other way around. What many organizations, many leaders feared before Corona. If I let people work in the home office, they're not going to do what they have to do. No, it's the other way around. So let go of control and have the courage to trust people and care. Make sure you meet the very basic human need for connection and attachment, which has become more apparent also now during Corona. With the bigger distance and the more virtual settings, the need for connection, for true, authentic connection has increased. And many leaders are already doing a great job in this regard, and some have a little bit of room for improvement there.
Working there, or at least raising.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they need a sounding board, just like somebody like you and me. I always get asked, not always, but certainly lately, because of all these shifts, is coaching still current? And who gets a coach today? I say winners do. Winners do.
Winners do. And the demand for coaching has even increased now.
Exactly.
This year, and I'm doing most of my coaching now virtually. So until end of March, it was 90% in person, 10% virtual. This has shifted 180 degrees.
Right. Now, between you and me, do you miss traveling?
Actually, honestly, right now, not a
Not so
single
much.
bit. Not a single bit. As much as I've enjoyed it before, I really enjoy spending months in the same time zone at the moment
and not living out of a suitcase.
Exploring beautiful Switzerland. We have such a nice country here to explore, and it's good. It's nice.
Couple of weeks ago, I was kind of having one of those days, missing a little bit, traveling and adding some frequent flight miles, and then I saw my luggage and it seemed a little bit sad, and I thought to me, I've got emotional baggage.
Okay, here we go.
If I don't travel, my baggage is a little bit emotional. But at some point, we're gonna get back on those planes. Perhaps never gonna be the same again. I think we're finding this hybrid mode because we can add so much value virtually. And
absolutely.
One of the things that in the future you and I are gonna be doing more synergy work. Virtually, adding value for women around the world, specifically for one of the industries that we work for, and those and more news are going to be coming. Is there anything that you would like to add before we wrap up, Thomas?
I would just like to say thank you for the opportunity to have this conversation. I've enjoyed it very much.
Thank you so much for everybody watching. You're going to have the connections for Thomas, you can just say your URL. Just make sure that everybody knows where they can find you.
It's very simple. Thomas Gelmi, oneword.com. And you'll find me on LinkedIn and Facebook. Feel free to connect.
The one and only rock star.
Yes.
ThomasGelmi.com. And it'll be anything out there. Make sure that if you're interested, whether it's German or English version, breakthrough or durchstarten. And thank you so much, Thomas. Gracias. Merci.
Gracias.
Everybody watching the webcast is called Future Ready. Hashtag Future Ready for your comments or also for the podcast, the Smart Woman Podcast. All right. For everything else, GabrielaMueller.com. Here, always with you, your coach, Gabriela. Hasta la vista.